History 1. I'm not gonna lie, when I agreed to work at Jack's Fried Chicken, I was aware of what I was getting into. I know the place doesn't have the best reputation, but I needed a job. Besides, no job is perfect. But if I had known what I was going to experience at that place, I would have kept looking for a job. Let me give you a little context first. It all started when, overnight, a man started coming in every night before the place closed. His appearance was horrendous. He looked like a homeless man. The man always did the same thing. He would arrive, order a chicken sandwich, and go to the bathroom to eat it. Although he was polite and seemed totally harmless, we were all afraid to say anything to him. He was constantly scratching himself and talking at the table with people who weren't there. His huge eye was shaking almost as much as his body. He didn't seem like a bad person, but we were all afraid that if we said anything to him, the man would explode in anger and attack us. The day it all happened, the usual routine had occurred. The homeless man had ordered his chicken sandwich and was waiting for it to be delivered. We all avoided going to the bathroom when this happened, but that day I couldn't help it. I was sick to my stomach, and I couldn't wait another second for that man to go into the bathroom, eat his food, and come out. I locked myself in the farthest bathroom cubicle. I tried to hurry as fast as I could, but before I could get up, the bathroom door opened and the man came in. He began to inspect the bathroom, choosing where to go in to eat. He tried to enter my door but noticed that it was closed. After that, there was an awkward silence. "Sir, what are you doing? The stall's occupied," I said. "Oh, I'm sorry, young man. I wanted to see why this cubicle wasn't available," he replied. Without any answer from me, the man went to the first cubicle where he always used to go. From mine, I could hear him savagely eating the chicken sandwich. The noises made me very nervous. He was devouring it without contemplation, and he didn't drink anything even for a second after eating. I took advantage of this situation to pull up my pants and leave the cubicle quickly, but as soon as the man heard my door open, he stopped eating. I walked slowly to leave. I didn't want to make him leave his cubicle. I didn't want to meet him face to face. I couldn't shake this strange feeling that something was wrong, that this man was dangerous and might possibly do something to me. When I reached the door, it opened violently and the homeless man came out. The man was in his underwear. He had taken off all his clothes when he entered the stall. He had a piece of trash which he threw out as soon as he opened the door. As soon as he came out, he made his intentions clear. He looked me straight in the eye. We both stared at each other uncomfortably without saying anything, watching each other. He wasn't looking at me in a threatening way. He didn't seem to want to hurt me, but something in his eyes was wrong. His look was desperate, hurt, and even sad. But that didn't make him any less dangerous. After all, he was 2 heads taller than me. I'm sorry to bother you, but I think I need your help," he said. "What are you doing without clothes? You know you can't eat in here, right?" "Yes, I'm really sorry, I need to. It's the only way I can take off my clothes." "And why do you want to take off your clothes?" "Well, this is the only way I can rock myself while I eat and get all these damn cockroaches out of my body." "But there's nothing on your skin. Are you lying too? Don't you see all these cockroaches all over my body? If I take them off, they just come back. They just keep going on, eating all my skin. They're going to eat me alive." "Okay, sir, I apologize. I can see them better now without my glasses. I'll go get help." "Okay, I'll come soon with someone who will get all the cockroaches off, okay?" "Thank you, sir. What are you doing?" "I need your help." "I was just going to look for—" "No, please let go, help! Someone help me, please!" The situation was interrupted when 2 security guards entered the restroom along with some other guys, pushing the 2 of us out of the door. When we fell, I got up as quickly as I could, but the man was still on the floor, rolling around as if he was on fire. The police soon arrived and took the man away. I didn't report him or press any charges against him, as he really didn't have any bad intentions towards me. Shortly afterward, I found out that the man was locked up in a psychiatric hospital as he had schizophrenia. I was told that, just as he said, the man thought his body was full of hungry cockroaches that were brutally biting him all the time. After that, we never saw him again, but when I see a cockroach I think of him, how it would feel to be in his skin, and how in his desperation, he could have done something to me if I wasn't saved. This story was inspired by a serial killer named Richard Spencer, who was a psychiatric patient at Greenfield State Hospital. In July of 1985, he killed a 29-year-old woman named Mary Johnson at Riverfront Mall. Her body, stabbed and shot, was found in her car. 2 years later, Richard was acquitted by reason of insanity. He escaped from Greenfield State Hospital in 2018 by taking a cab, using a fake ID, and was later arrested in Texas. History 2. It was a day I will never forget. I got home from school late in the evening. After watching TV for a bit, I started to feel hungry. Luckily, a new Roscoe's chicken fast food place had just opened up down the road, so I figured I'd go grab something to eat. By the time I got there, it was already dark. As I walked in, I noticed the place was empty. No customers, no workers, just a strange guy standing behind the counter. Now, I'm not one to judge based on appearances, but there was something really off about this guy. He was extremely thin, like he was ill or hadn't eaten in days. He had big, bulging eyes and a messy beard. What really caught my attention was the scabs and wounds all over his body, some bandaged, others just left open. I couldn't understand why someone in such a condition would be handling food. "Excuse me, can I get some service?" I called out. "Hello, can you hear me?" I shouted. His tired, bloodshot eyes slowly turned towards me. He glared at me with such anger, like I'd interrupted something crucial. "Welcome to Roscoe's Famous Chicken. May I take your order?" he said in a lifeless tone. His teeth were jagged and yellow. I ordered 3 spicy chicken wings with extra ketchup and a Diet Coke. He asked for my name, which I hesitated to give, but since it was necessary for the order, I told him, "Samantha." "Coming right up, Samantha. You're gonna love it," he said with a creepy smile before disappearing into the kitchen. Something didn't feel right, and a foul smell was coming from the kitchen. I decided to sneak back there to see what was happening. I watched him as he prepared the chicken. To my horror, he vomited into the ketchup bottle, shook it up, and then spread it over the chicken. I nearly threw up. Just then, he turned around and saw me. "You're not supposed to be here," he said. "I'm almost done with your order." I felt cold sweat running down my back. "Actually, I've changed my mind. I don't want the order anymore," I said, trying to back away. "I don't think so. You're going to eat your chicken and enjoy it. Everyone loves Roscoe's chicken," he said, grabbing a kitchen knife. I bolted out of the restaurant with him chasing after me, a box of chicken in one hand and the knife in the other. "Come back here and eat your chicken," he yelled. I ran as fast as I could, and just as he was about to catch up to me, a truck came out of nowhere and hit him. I didn't stop running until I got home. My mom was away on a business trip, so I locked all the doors and windows and grabbed a baseball bat. I tried to call her, but the line wouldn't go through. Around 2 a.m., I was woken up by dogs barking outside, and then the front door handle started to shake violently. "Samantha, your order is ready. Open the door, Samantha," he hissed. I called the police and gave them my address. As the man started hacking at the door with his knife, I could hear the police sirens getting closer. When they arrived, the man had vanished, leaving behind a box of chicken with my name on it. The police checked the restaurant and found the body of one of the workers in the closet, stabbed multiple times. The manager told the police the man had been fired after being caught contaminating orders with bodily fluids. He'd been sent to a mental institution but had escaped and returned to the restaurant. I'm just glad I trusted my instincts and checked on him. Needless to say, I haven't gone back to Roscoe's since. History 3. Last winter, I started working part-time at a diner near the highway. Things weren't too bad until they moved me to the night shift. About a month into my time at the restaurant, it got busier during the day but downright spooky at night. I didn't enjoy going to work on cold winter nights, but I managed to push through it because the pay kept going up. Then one night in January, I made a terrible mistake. I offered to close the diner on my own after the night shift. Kathy was supposed to help me. She's a brunette, sweet girl who started around the same time I did. But she was feeling ill, so I offered to handle closing solo. Once the last customers were gone, I began my closing process. I locked the doors, turned off the main lights, then pulled out a Bluetooth speaker, placed it on the table in the dining room, and started to mop up while jamming to some classic rock. I wiped down all of the surfaces and worked fast. We had an official policy to only ever close with 2 or more staff on site. The official reason was for safety and accountability, but as the minutes ticked by that night, I began to feel like someone was moving around the restaurant just out of my sight. I was about to start cleaning the bathrooms when I heard a commotion from the kitchen. "Kathy?" I called out, holding up my mop for self-defense, I guess. There was a scraping sound followed by silence. I hopped over the counter, still holding onto the mop like it was a club. Something had knocked over a packet of flour lying on the kitchen counter. White flour spilled all over the floor. "Boom!" I yelped, turning back and seeing a man standing inside the restaurant. I just about jumped out of my skin. The man looked like a creepier version of a sailor. Dirt clung heavily to his clothes, and the pipe he was smoking spread a foul smell all over the restaurant. "I'm imagining this," I said out loud, clutching the mop so hard my knuckles turned white. The man took a step forward and stopped. "Hey, are you here alone?" he asked. I froze. "Kathy?" I called again, forgetting she had gone home a long time ago. "Nope, not Kathy. Who are you?" I asked. "I am many things. Now, did you say you were alone, or did I imagine that?" My mouth was dry. I was having a hard time speaking. Now he was standing in the middle of the restaurant, partially hunched over. His chin made his face look absurd, and he only had one eye open, but it was enough to give me a death stare. "Do you know I only eat spinach?" he said. I took 2 steps back. He remained where he stood. "I don't understand why they put this on me. I'm a vegan. I don't even like chicken. You meat eaters are cruel. It feels fun to silence a helpless bird, right?" "What are you talking about? Look, we're closed for the day. If you have any issues, come back tomorrow when the manager's here." "Oh no, I don't think the manager will agree so easily. I need to leave him a message." His words made absolutely no sense, but the more I heard him, the more I felt my skin crawl. "What message? Dude, I'm telling you, you better leave or I'll—" "You've got a face I would like to touch," he said, suddenly running towards me at full speed. I screamed and started running too. Maybe if I do what your manager does to those poor chickens, the world would realize. Maybe I should just give them a taste of their own medicine. Go, eat, help, help. I got inside the restroom and locked the door before he could get in. His chilling threats continued from the other side of the door. "Open up! Open up! It's the sailor man!" My body was drenched in a cold sweat. I was panting in fear. What should I do? How do I get out of this alive? My phone wasn't with me, and this place was in the middle of the highway. Very limited chances that someone would hear my screams. "I'm strong to the finish 'cause I eat my spinach. I'm the sailor man." His voice started to change, and soon he was kicking the door hard. "Don't try my patience, lady. The more you make me wait, the more damage I'll do to you. Open the door. Please, just go away. Leave me alone." But he didn't. Soon the door started to give in. His kicks were so strong I knew I wouldn't be safe for long, and it was time to get out and run. I climbed up the bathroom vent with great difficulty, squeezed myself through it. I was already halfway from getting out through that small space when I heard the door break. So the little birdie tries to run? I began to move my body quickly. I was almost out when he grabbed my feet. His ironclad grasp gave me bruises, but thank God I wore my boots that day. I poked his big eye with my other boot. "My eye!" he yelled. He let go of me as soon as I made it onto the ground. I kicked my shoes off and started running towards my scooter parked in the driveway. Luckily, I always kept my keys in my jean pocket. It took me about 5 to 7 seconds to start the engine, but it felt like hours in panic. When I was driving away at full speed, I saw the man coming out of the restaurant. He chased me, but I drove too fast. That was the last time I stepped foot in that diner. I quit the next morning, calling my manager to make sure she knew it was my fault the place wasn't properly closed. I didn't want to get Kathy in trouble, though I did beg her to find somewhere else to work. She promised she'd think about it. I don't leave my apartment much these days. I'm able to work from home, and I get all of my food delivered. The rare times I step outside for a walk, well, I walk fast. Maybe it's my imagination, but sometimes I feel like something is out there, looking for me just out of sight. When I sleep, which is rare these days, I dream of that crazy sailor man who called himself a true vegan and came to set an example for the non-vegetarian people by doing God knows what to me.